Well, what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims? It's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell are you doing? What you're doing is trying to divide the country. And I've lived through 50 years of this crap. All these fake race wars that they're always promoting. Oh, go hate each other while we loot the treasury. That's exactly what's going on. And most people are totally sick of that.
During his appearance at Turning Point's America Fest, Tucker Carlson slammed his fellow Republicans for their attacks on Muslim Americans. But is his outrage genuine? We may disagree on this one as well, Jank. But before I give folks more, what's your initial take here?
Yeah, I love that clip. Better than anyone in mainstream media ever on this issue, ever. I've never seen a cable news host. I've never seen a New York Times reporter, Washington Post reporter, or anyone from those traditional media outlets that give that strong a defense of Muslims in America. And of course, the pro-Israel crowd is gonna say, yeah, you have to denounce them. No, I don't denounce them. I celebrate what he just said there. And guys, if you haven't noticed, Tucker Carlson has changed on some things. He keeps emphasizing that we're all individuals and no one should ever be judged based on a group. If you say, okay, I conveniently believe him when he says something I don't like, but when he says things that are at the core of what we all believe on the left, what all Americans believe, boo, I don't believe him. No, that's very convenient. The Israelis want to destroy Tucker Carlson. I'm 100% against them. And on this, thank God Tucker Carlson is talking about Muslims as if they're human beings. And I'll listen to other people when they start doing likewise.
Well, defense of Muslims is something Tucker has done before, including in his recent interview with Piers Morgan.
I do think, again, that the over-amplification of the Islam problem, as people put it, or the Muslim problem, has been massively overstated.
Well, that's an obviously.
Yeah.
Hate the Muslims. No, we know where that's coming from.
Obviously. I don't like it.
I hate it.
In my high street alone, in West London, most of the businesses would have Muslim employees there. Or
but also, how is hate the Muslims better than hate the Christians or hate the Jews?
It's not. It's all the same.
Not. It's the same.
And bringing it back to the Turning Point conference, Tucker didn't just call out Islamophobia. He also condemned Christians for using their religion to defend the killing of innocent people, including Palestinians in Gaza.
Should also be very on guard against people who try to leverage the word of God, the words of Jesus, for political ends. God is not on any country's side. And if someone is telling you otherwise, that is just not true. And I would also call your attention to the very obvious prohibitions in the New Testament against killing the innocent. We are not, as Christians, allowed to kill the innocent, period. You are seeing now a very intense effort to convince you otherwise. Oh, it's fine. They deserved it. Really, did their children deserve it? If a man commits a crime, do we kill his kids? I don't care if it's in Minneapolis or Gaza City. No, we don't.
He's been outspoken in his opposition to the genocide in Gaza and America's support of it. But despite his passionate plea to his fellow conservatives to stop attacking Muslims, is it really fair to say he himself is not Islamophobic, or at the very least, xenophobic? He recently, 2 days ago, made a video about Somali immigration into the States that he titled, Tucker Carlson on the Somali invasion and the self-loathing ideology destroying America. And the description of that video reads, why would you decide to import primitive Somali tribes and encourage them not to assimilate? The only possible explanation is that you're trying to destroy the country. In the video, he describes Somalis as clannish and poor. He also posted a separate clip from that interview titled, Tucker, she married her brother, about this baseless right-wing conspiracy theory about Ilhan Omar that no one has ever been able to provide any evidence justifying. Tucker didn't specifically talk about Islam in that video about Somalis, but that's a country with a 99% Muslim population. So the subtext is there. But in the past, Tucker has actually defended Trump's Muslim ban, which Carlson argued didn't actually target Muslims. In 2017, he argued that the attitudes of faithful Muslims are not Western at all and include a tolerance of violence that you don't find among Presbyterians or Jews. Similar to his use of primitive to describe Somalis in his episode, he once said in a radio interview that people from Iraq are semi-literate primitive monkeys.
Iraq is a crappy place filled with a bunch of, semi-literate primitive monkeys. But I just have zero sympathy for them or their culture, a culture where people just don't use toilet paper or forks.
And the way they treat women, I agree with you. Their culture is, but you're in their homeland, and you're over there as an American who they hate, and they want nothing more than the Americans off of their soil. So they're not going to play games.
They can just shut the up and obey, is my view.
How could you salvage Iraq at this point?
I don't, it's beyond our control. I mean, if somehow the Iraqis decided to behave like human beings or something, he'd need to say, look, I'm a bigot, okay? I'm a bigot. I don't like Islamic extremists. Like, if you are really heavily into Islam, I'm sorry, I don't care for you that much. And I don't care what that sounds like. You can call me a racist. You can come whatever you want.
And he's claimed that immigration is making America poorer, dirtier, and more divided. And on an episode of a show from August 18th, he claimed that there is a movement around the world to kill whites through mass migration. Cenk.
Yeah. So breaks down in a couple of different categories. So first of all, I don't agree with him on that Somali talk. So very much against it. The talk against immigrants, very much against it. It doesn't mean I have to cancel him. I'm just against it. I solved it. Number two, don't tell me about look, I get it. You're pointing out your point of view that you think that there's subtext against Muslims there. Maybe. On the other hand, there is overtext, clear text of him saying, don't hate Muslims to his millions of followers repeatedly. So I'm not as worried about the subtext as the brother who's telling people in America for the first time, especially from the right, don't hate Muslims, they're individuals. So, okay, so we go, then there's another category is older clips. So the calling the Iraqis monkeys, etc. We've covered that on the show before, terrible. And so I'm against it. But it appears that he has changed on that. You could say, okay, I hate him, so I don't believe him, and I'll never believe him, and I'll always hold him accountable for just his comments in 2008, but I will not give him credit for the excellent comments he's making today. Well, that doesn't make any sense, to me at least. So like if someone says before I hate Muslims, and remember I'm atheist, but I grew up Muslim, my family's Muslim. So if somebody says before I don't like Muslims, well, I'm okay, that's bad. And then they say, oh, but now I get that I was wrong, and we should treat Muslims as equals. Well, great, isn't that great? What am I still supposed to yell at him? Oh, yeah, but you once didn't think that, so I hate you forever, even though you've come to my side on this particular issue. No, I'm not going to do that. Jordan, those set of clips that you played in the beginning from today and not from decades ago are some of the best defense of Muslims and Palestinians I've ever seen from a national media figure. And so it's easy for us to do it on the left, but it almost never comes from the right, and it almost never comes from the middle. The mainstream, who have been virulently anti-Muslim. And a couple more things here that I just want to point out real quick. One, he went and said killing of the innocents in Gaza is morally repugnant. And God, I've been waiting for someone in the right wing to care about Palestinians my whole life. And you want me to reject that guy? You must be out of your mind. And the second thing is he mentioned how anti-Muslim propaganda in the West is ops. What did he mean by that? The Israelis literally drive propaganda against Muslims in the West so you'll hate them and finance Israel as they destroy their Muslim neighbors. So the fact that he realizes that that propaganda operation is happening and got Piers Morgan to agree that it's happening, those are amazing developments. I'm not going to reject those. I'm going to welcome those with open arms.
It undercuts his message when this very week he's using the same description that he used for Iraqis in the 2000s to describe Somalis. He's calling them both primitive. He's talking about how mass migration is dividing our country. It's the same thing. So I don't see this change. What I see is an opportunist saying something different at a new venue. Because on his show, he's relaxed. You see his true self. You see him selecting topics like zeroing in on Somalis, saying they're dividing our country, saying they're primitive. But then at America Fest, where everyone, they're doing it, that's the night they did the big remembrance of Charlie. Oh, we got to carry on his spirit of free debate. And I'm a Christian now. I love everyone. Okay, like 72 hours ago, you're talking, you shouldn't make blanket statements about groups of people. 72 hours ago, you published a video making a blanket statement about groups of people. So I don't buy it. I don't think it's sincere. He can say one thing to a different audience, but I don't think he means it.
I think that the way he describes Somalis is, I can't, I think it's terrible and I don't like it and I don't want it and I disagree with it, okay? But it's not the same thing as being against a group of people. Are there countries that are poorer than other countries? And yes, should we deride them and smear them? No, right? But no, that doesn't wipe away all of the positive things he's saying now. And I barely care if it's disingenuous or not. Why do I care? So here's a brother saying, please treat Muslims equally, and it would be the Christian thing to do that. But because he said other bad things, in our opinion, politically, we're supposed to denounce that? What do you want me to do? I'm not going to denounce it. And Jordan, this is super important. Whenever there's the slightest infraction about whether it's a pro-Israel person or, let's be honest, a Jewish person, okay, the whole country erupts. Congressional hearings, laws are passed, they're canceled. Okay, Puka rubbed his hands together, having no idea. This is a receiver for the Rams in the NFL, having no idea what that's about. And instantly there was congressional representatives calling for the Rams to cut him instantly, okay? So whenever there's an infraction against one particular people, the country all has to stand up and denounce. When there's a million people saying the worst things in the world about Muslims, no one gives a goddamn. And here comes an ally from the right, and people want me to reject him. Hell no, no. So the minute I see Jake Tapper or Anderson frickin' Cooper or Wolf Blitzer or anyone in mainstream media give a defense of Muslims like Tucker Carlson did, I'll begin to consider their opinion. But as long as they're driving Israeli propaganda that you should all hate Muslims and Muslims are terrorists and the Israelis are poor little innocent victims, and not telling people that it's giant Israeli propaganda to try to get the whole world to hate Muslims, then okay, then we'll have a conversation. Until then, they are morally inferior to Tucker Carlson. How do you like them apples?
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.